Good evening, Ruta Bay. As of now, there is no information that anybody inside the synagogue has been injured or killed. This is a terribly sad day for this community. It's still ongoing. This is still an active scene. Just to paint the picture for you here, the synagogue is just down that road. You can see all of these police units leading down this one street that leads to that facility. The media is being staged here in a parking lot just a bit away. It's not only media, they're community members now showing up as well to just watch, to express their concerns, to express their solidarity here. At this time, Ruta Bay, it is unknown, unconfirmed how many people are inside this synagogue, but all of this hostage situation coinciding with Shabbat service earlier this morning, which just so happened to be live streaming. At 11 o'clock this morning, Colleyville police were called to Congregation Beth Israel, a synagogue north of Dallas-Fort Worth, holding Saturday morning Shabbat service. Inside, a lone suspect holding the congregation hostage. His hate-filled rant live-streamed through the synagogue's Facebook page.
But there's something wrong with me, or there is something wrong in America. There's something wrong with this system.
SWAT teams, the FBI, and a crisis negotiator quickly called in for backup. Area neighborhoods evacuated out of safety. At this time, authorities not revealing how or if the man is armed. He repeatedly warns the congregation he won't make it out alive.
I'm going to die in this, all right? Are you listening?
It's very sad for us as a community. The entire Jewish community is aware of this situation. I've had many calls from Israel.
Harold Gernsbacher is the chairman of Secure Community Network, which oversees the physical security of more than 1,500 Jewish communities and locations across the country, including this one.
We were physically trained in this building on August the 22nd. We had about 25 people in the building, including the rabbi. So they had at least some knowledge and training as to what potentially could happen in this type of a situation.
This afternoon, the White House briefing President Biden on the hostage situation. Senator Ted Cruz, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, and Israel's Minister of Diaspora Affairs, all releasing statements of support for the synagogue and Colleyville community.
We don't know exactly what perpetrates their energy that says I must, assume control of some Jewish institution in order to make my point. And we just pray for the safety and the release of those that are being held inside.
Yeah, just another terribly sad incident when one of the safest places that should be the safest place within a community is targeted by hate. Ruta Bay, at this time, for anybody just now joining, there's still no, confirmed information about injuries or deaths inside. Can also tell you the mayor of Dallas, Eric Johnson, has also deployed backup patrols to Dallas area synagogues just in response to what's happening here in Colleyville to make sure that this is an isolated incident. Ruta Bay.
We see that huge police presence behind you, all kinds of law enforcement agencies there on the ground. We know they have made contact with the hostage. Hostage taker, rather. What can you tell us about that?
Well, yeah, there's so many different agencies here, FBI, SWAT teams, state troopers even, and we have been told they made contact. I personally don't have information about what that conversation sounded like, but it's interesting. If you listen to that live stream, which has since been taken off Facebook, everybody inside seems to be listening to what this lone suspect has to say. He goes on and on. He repeats about Islam, what's wrong with this country. He admits he has 6 children himself, and he also acknowledges that he will likely die at the end of this. And he says, I hope I don't have to take anybody else down with me. But at this time, I don't know what those exact conversations have been like. Ruta Bay, as you know, this is a fluid situation. There's so much that is even left to be confirmed here about how many people are inside or what the scene looks like. As of right now, this is as far, or this is as close as we've been able to get to that synagogue, Ruta Bay.
And Mark, you've been a reporter there on the ground for quite a while. You know that community well. Tell us about this community of Colleyville.
Yeah, so Colleyville, as you mentioned right off the top, it's just north of Dallas. This is a community I've gone back and forth to my whole life. We have good family friends here. This is a small town suburb of Dallas. This is a family-knit community. Everybody knows everybody here, and especially in this community, the synagogue, you know that everybody here knows what's happening. The amount of people in this parking lot who have shown up today just to provide support and, a shoulder to cry on or to lean on has been remarkable. But this is a small community who knows exactly what is happening here today. And several people that we've talked to just said this is a really sad day for the Jewish community. And everybody here just praying that all the people inside the congregation comes out safely.
Have you been in touch with anyone who knows people inside, any relatives of people who attend that synagogue?
I have not been in touch with anybody who knows relatives inside. I have been in touch with a former FBI agent who, one of her good friends actually attends this synagogue but is not here today. That person that I'm talking about is actually in Florida. She knows the rabbi well. In fact, I think we're trying to get in contact with her, for the show a little bit later on. But I haven't been in contact with anybody here, but you can tell that everybody, even if they don't know them personally inside, they feel as though they are in there with them. This is one community today here in Colleyville, as well as the Jewish community that resides here, Fruita Bay.
And this is a massive law enforcement presence. The response has been huge. There is a law enforcement presence at every synagogue in the Dallas area right now as a precaution. We see the lights behind you, but paint a picture for us what it looks like right now on the scene.
Yeah, so Fruita Bay, our crew has been here for a few hours, and it is just flooded with media. It's flooded with law enforcement. It's Colleyville PD. We know the FBI agents, crisis intervention crews, state troopers are up ahead working the scene closer to the synagogue. But it is just flooded with people here tonight. We can tell you that Shabbat service started at 10 o'clock this morning. Colleyville police called in at about 11. So sometime between 10 and 11, that lone suspect came in. And I know, I was just reading about the synagogue a little bit earlier just on its website. This is a loving synagogue. They are all about family here. Shabbat service, of course, this morning about coming together. It's the weekly holiday, the tradition of getting to celebrate a slowdown from the hectic week that you just had. In fact, Fruita Bay at 7 o'clock tonight, a trivia night was just about to start here. That is no longer going to be happening, but we are here. This is still active and ongoing, and I don't think this scene will slow down anytime soon.
And the hostage taker even mentioned that was recorded on a live stream. He thanked the rabbi for keeping the door open and allowing him in. He said he liked the rabbi. So that speaks to the welcoming environment that the synagogue has.
Yeah, it really does. And we know that this is a welcoming community, not only Colleyville, but this synagogue. And it does sound, I'm not sure how many people are inside, but if you listen to that audio live stream, you can't hear cries, you can't hear screams from anybody there. It sounds like they're listening to what he has to say. It sounds like everybody is at least trying their best to stay calm. He has interactions with them at certain points. At one point, he asks a man inside, "How many children do you have, sir?" And then that lone suspect admits to them he has 6 children. He's going to go down in history, but also admits that he's likely not going to make it alive out at the end of this. But at this time, there's so much that is still unknown, Fruita Bay, but it's still ongoing. Behind us again, this started police were called in at 11. They're now going on hour 7 of this hostage taking.